if we talk about counseling of children in the case of separation of parents, the first and the foremost principle of counseling children in case of separation of parents is to win their confidence. The counselor has to be empathetic towards the child and bring out the inner self of the child. Now, I would like Shreya to continue the counseling points.
Thank you, Simran. So the first point is that a person should be open and talk. So parents need to understand that students and children are very sensitive, and what they are doing impacts the child. So we need to tell the truth, obviously be communicative and supportive with the child so that they don't feel that it's their issue and their problem, and because of then they're fighting. As shown in the video in the start, the child was feeling that he is the reason the parents are fighting because they couldn't tell the actual reason about what the conflict was and why are they getting separated. Parents need to understand that they need to tell the child regularly that they love him and they support the child. The third point is present some examples of successful children who the child can look up to. So, psychology says that humans bond when they have faced something similar or have similarities. When a child identifies himself or herself with a child who overcame similar obstacles, it gives them hope and confidence to cross the hurdles. We all have someone in our lives to look up to, no? And it can be a great way to motivate the child. So the next thing we can do is suggest a few changes to the child to come out of the situation and that he can lead a normal life, he or she obviously. So changes need not to be drastic. Slight changes can help the child get distracted from his or her present problems and develop a skill or something which diverts the child's energy in a positive direction. We can help the child develop a habit and likes of recreational activities like flying kites, making designs, fishing, horseback riding, photography, or any other pastimes the child enjoys. Or we can we can help him in the outdoor and digital fascinations like web designing, coding, editing, translations, basketball, football, badminton, tennis, gymnastics, as well as other arts, crafts, singing, dancing, etc. Can fascinate a child to pursue his hobbies and career. The last thing we come to are the sources. Now, here are some sources which helped us understand this topic better. We did not just look at the Indian context, we also saw divorce cases from children's parents from across the globe. It was very beneficial. We saw cases, we studied about the separation of parents from many different government agencies of different countries. For example, the Australian government has a site, familyrelations.government.au. That's an Australian government official site, which is there to help in the cases like these. With this, we come to the end of our presentation. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good morning, everybody. Respected teachers and all the students present here. Today, on behalf of Group 2 of Tute 1, I, Alfonsa Tom, would be presenting on the topic Orphan Children's Stories in India. Commonly, we refer only a child who has lost both parents due to death as an orphan. Often the term itself is a saddest one. Not many people would know that many of our renowned personalities like Nelson Mandela, Leo Tolstoy, Marilyn Monroe, among many others, were actually orphans. Orphan characters are extremely common in children and fantasy literature like Cinderella, Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, superheroes like Batman, Spider-Man, Robin, Captain Marvel, Captain America were all orphans. Now, who is an orphan or what is an orphan? A child who is below 18 years of age and who has lost one or both parents may be defined as an orphan.
In June 2018, a shelter home in Bihar, Muzaffarnagar came under a scanner after a report by TIS revealed that minor girls living there were subjected to sexual assault. In July, more skeletons tumbled out. At least 44 girls between 7 to 17 were confirmed raped.
So, I would like to conclude by quoting: when you lose your parents as a child, you are indoctrinated into a club. You are taken into life's severest confidence. You are undeceived. Thank you, everyone.
Every human has something to offer this world. The question is, will we create a society that can see everyone's worth? Good morning. I am Ranveer. On behalf of Tutorial Second, would you like to introduce with the socio-economic status and how does it define the future and lives of children in India? With the collective effort of my all group members, we have summarized the topic in a few slides and short stories that will really help you get a broader picture understanding of the same. India has distinct social groups, and this distinction on the basis of economic status is no hidden truth. We have societies comprised of the richest of the richest and poorest of the poor. How this distinction shape the lives and play a key role in the development of child. Let us discuss it one by one. I would request my group members to take you through the three major types of these social classes distinctively. So let's begin. First of Nista, who will explain about higher social class. Over to you, Nista, please.
So, first of all, what is socioeconomic status? So, as Ranveer already described a little, socioeconomic status is the place or status of an individual or group in the society based on various factors such as their income. My friends will discuss these classes at length. I request Ria to discuss the higher class.
I'll be discussing about the higher class. So, these children attain the highest class in the society compared to their counterparts, and they're financially secure because members of high social classes tend to be better educated and have higher incomes. They are able to offer greater educational advantages, such as private schooling, to their children as well. So here we see the pros and cons of a children belonging to a higher class. The pros can be a child, since the income is high, there is no money constraint. The diet is healthy. Lifestyle depends. It can be either sedentary or active, it depending on the habits of the family. The cons might include the stereotype as being lazy or privileged and competition among friends. Emotional development can also be hampered due to pampering or isolation. So, there are privileges and problems related to this class. First of all is the ease of living. It includes ample space for all the children in the family and enough resources for all. The second one is technology and travel. So there is easy access to smartphones, computer and internet. Education. There is easy access to all kinds of courses anywhere in the world. Next is health. Better healthcare and nutrition ensures proper cognitive and physical development. One has better life expectancy and care for children with special needs becomes easier. Looking at the problems, there is a risk of addiction and cybercrime. With ease of access to everything comes the risk of drug addiction and unethical activities since it's easy to get away with the consequences.
So today I would like to share two stories of people who belong to the elite class, but despite having all the things, how they bring a change in the world. One would be a positive story and one would be a negative story. To start off with, I would like to share a real life story of a girl who, despite having all that one dreams of, carves her way all by herself at the age of 17 years and has inspired many children. Ananya Shri is the daughter of Kumar Mangalam Birla, a big industrialist. We can rightly say that genes have a role to play in a person's life, but she had a desire to become a social entrepreneur during her school days. She decided to finance women in the rural areas to start a business. For this purpose, she started a firm called Swatantra Microfinance while she was only 17 years of age. We may say business skills may have come to her genetically, but she was also a state level chess player. This way, she has embarked her journey and has inspired many children. Now, I would like to share a story where four engineering girls slam a poor person sleeping on the pavement. It is a real life case story. It involves four spoiled girls from a rich family background. They were all drunk. They were returning from a late night party in a car. On the way, they rammed their car onto the footpath and killed a poor person who was sleeping there with another, while another got injured. Now I would request Kaveri to please continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Akriti. Am I audible?
Yes, Kaveri.
Okay. A very good morning to all of you. I'll be talking about the middle class children. So, I'm sure we all understand what the middle class is because most of us do belong to this middle class. Speaking about it, the middle class is any class of people in the middle of the societal hierarchy. So it's the broad group of people who basically fall between the working class and the upper class. They have a reasonable amount of income, so they don't have to worry about hand-to-mouth situations like the poor families have to. But they are the families where children can taste both richness, where their desires and their dreams and whatever that they aspire for is fulfilled, but they don't have to face poverty.
Thank you, Kaveri. Now I would like to discuss about the two real life stories. One of them is a positive one and the other one is negative. The first story is about a 17-year-old girl who had a huge fan following on social media, allegedly killed herself in her East Delhi home. Police is yet to reach a conclusion as to why she might have resorted to this extreme step. She used to live in a joint family, and the cops were also told that she was the breadwinner of the family, earning from modeling. Her father used to run a business earlier. So, from this particular story, we can say that the middle class children feel so pressurized at times that when they fail to fulfill the desires of their parents, they commit suicides. The second story is about a Chandigarh girl, Poonam. She has made her family proud by getting rupees 30 lakh scholarship from University of South Carolina to pursue a doctorate in chemistry.
Thanks, Vinika. So, as we all know, the lower class suffers the most amongst all the classes, and it's the same even in terms of the nature of childhood. There is a lack of basic necessities such as food, shelter, and income. Uh, in India, nearly half of the children under 5 years of age succumb to death every year due to poor nutrition. Only 9.6% of children between 6 to 23 months in the country receive adequate diet. Poor nutrition in the first 1,000 days of the child's life can also lead to stunted growth, which is associated with impaired cognitive ability. In terms of education, about 32 million Indian children up to the age of 13 have never attended school. The majority of them belong to the lower class families. They are forced to give up their education to financially support the family, for which they work in potentially dangerous jobs and are sometimes even forced into child trafficking and prostitution. Because of a lack of resources, the parents are sometimes forced to turn to harsh parenting methods that does not provide any emotional support to children, and as a result, they often suffer neglect and abuse, which further hinders their mental and emotional development. I would now ask Tanishi to take the discussion further.
Thank you, Lippy. Now we would look at certain stories. The I'll start with the second story, in which the negative aspect of the lower class can be seen. The story talks about the digitalization of the education due to the lockdown. It says it is a story of a 15-year-old child called named Shirin Diaz Shah. Her father is a tailor and her family's single source of income. But due to the pandemic, he had to stay home and had no work to do, hence no income. The data is precious as money is less. Shireen has four siblings. All of them have different schedules in different classes and all a lot of homework, but only one mobile phone. When asked, she said that the process of learning digitally is harder. She says in class we can raise hands again and again. We can ask teachers politely to pause and then to repeat what they just said. But in a video call, even if two or three students are supposed to do that, the time runs out and we are left with a lot of syllabus to cover. Globally, lockdowns have been enforced to stop the virus's spread, but they have put 91% of the learners out of their school. Out of these, the poorest and most marginalized are at a very big risk of never returning to the classroom due to the lack of money. In India, where the government spends 3% of the nation's GDP on education and only half the population has access to the internet, about 320 million students have already been affected. Many of the underprivileged students' parents have never used a smartphone before. The first story towards the left talks about Manya Singh. The 19-year-old was born in Mumbai and raised in the small town of Hath in UP. Manya was crowned VLCC Femina Miss India 2020 runner-up last week. She is the daughter of an auto rickshaw driver, graduated in banking and insurance. She was seen to have rode an auto rickshaw to her alma mater on Tuesday with her father in the driving seat and mother holding her hand and seen in extreme pride. Her father had also led a 18-vehicle strong auto rickshaw rally for 1 kilometers long stretch, and he exclaimed that his happiness was uncontrollable. It was hard for him to not cry. He said that on the same roads where he always rode to get a passenger, now people were standing with placards in their hands, cheering and applauding him and his daughter. Though Mane was academically bright, but she chose a different path. When asked about her hardships and her success, she stated that there was a time when people told me I wasn't good looking or they tried to shame me for my roots. I toiled hard to make every bit count, to dream big, even when the circumstances didn't allow me. This is where I began my journey, and here I am again. I feel incredibly nostalgic and extremely emotional that I'm sharing this platform with my family and eventually.
To sum up the above slides, we can say that socioeconomic status plays an important role in health behaviors, varying from one class to the other. And there is a deep contrast and divide in different socioeconomic classes of India. As we have seen, lower section has no privileges in the fulfillment of their emotional, physical, and social needs. They suffer a lot as compared to higher and middle class status. Right planning and right investments need to be taken by the government.
I'm presenting the first group or of a tube 3, which shows the parenting. As we know, parenting is not an easy method or easy perception. Parenting is very hard task. A person does not simply become a parent through a biological relationship with a child. Instead, a parent, someone who look after the child as they grow up, they could. Parents are among the most important people in the live young children.
Authoritarian is a person who believes that a person should obey in authority and the rules even when these are unfair or even when this means the loss of personal freedom. Now coming to the children, how they have to suffer in this parenting style. Children are not allowed to question the rules. In this case, the verbal take between the parents and the child is less. In this case, the child is not able to become independent. The child is not able to take independent decisions.
Children may become hostile or aggressive towards their parents because they resent constant punishment. Too much control by the parents may make the child aggressive, obviously, as you all know, as the child is not given a chance to express himself or herself.
Disadvantage of authoritarian parenting. First, rule dependent. Authoritarian parenting is based on implemented rules that children follow. Unfortunately, once children are confronted with situation that doesn't already have established guidelines, they feel insecure and unsure how to behave. Second, reduce self-esteem. Emphasis on cause and consequences affects a child's natural ability to make choices that may have a direct impact on his or her self-esteem. Children who depend on others to develop their confidence will often struggle in social situations and in a new environment.
Thank you, Sonali. An authoritarian parent is very strict and has a harsh rules that are always inflicted. If a child disobeys the authoritarian parent, harsh punishment will always take place. The child that has been influenced by the authoritarian parent usually grow up being responsible but more introverted socially. Some children who experience this style have rules they set that are very dramatic. Children are aggressive and socially inept, shy, and cannot make their own decisions, and tend to lack self-control and have low self-esteem. Thank you so much.
Permissive parenting, where even though the parents love their child, there is little guidance or rules. Now, let us look at another example. As shown in the previous illustration, the teenager skips the school. The parents find out. They may or may not have discussed the situation with the kid. Even if they have discussed the situation, they would have let the child control the conversation. And as a result, there would be no change in behavior. The kid with permissive parent are also more creative and resourceful as they can express themselves freely with their parents. In conclusion, in permissive parenting style, the parents try to be their kid's friend. They have fewer demands and rules. However, they are still loving. The parents also have lower expectations from their child. As a result of this parenting style, the kid may become less responsible and disciplined. He may show aggression. The kid may also show positive growth such as high self-esteem, high creativity, and resourcefulness. Thank you.
Uninvolved parenting, where parents make few to no demands of their children and they are often indifferent, dismissive, or completely neglectful. Since it was not the part of the dominant parenting style, but in the year 1983, McCovey and Martin expanded Baumrind's permissive style of parenting into two different styles, permissive and neglectful parenting, which is also called uninvolved parenting.
When these parents are too occupied with their lives, they have no clue what they are neglecting. Because of the work pressure and financial stress, they end up spending less time with their kids. They are too busy in their life. They may have the least interest in their child life. Inappropriate supervision. Parents may adopt either of extreme approaches. They may either be too lenient towards their kid and may not know what he may be doing, or they may be too strict.
There can be many reasons for parents to adopt this kind of parenting. Sometimes it is fully unintentional, and sometimes it is a conscious decision of parents to adopt this kind of parenting style. For example, some parents do this for the betterment of their kid. Yes, you all heard it right. Believe it or not, but some parents do think that this kind of parenting will make their kid tough, strong, and may help him face the various challenges of life. These parents lack knowledge about child development and they are unaware of their responsibilities. अगर पेरेंट को पता ही नहीं होगा कि बच्चे को उनको बच्चे के लिए क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, then it may cause confusion and they may have indifferent attitude towards their kid.
Yes, Komal. In the uninvolvement parenting having an extreme and toxic effects on their childhood, which leads to harm their childhood whole. They have a stress and anxiety level because no support and a concern from the parents. The confidence level decreases by living alone without any love and care of a parent. They will search this love and care from the outside the home and where they don't know which concern, care, and love was genuine and who was using them physically and emotionally and sexually.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Leena Pavadia, Rimsha Miraj, Kamini Vardhan, Digantika Jain, and Jessica, members of 2-3 Group 4, are going to discuss the authoritative parenting style.
Authoritative parents will adjust their response accordingly. Parents with this style are not able to adjust and adopt their approaches depending on the situation, but their child needs and other factors that may be present. Discipline then takes into account all variables, including the children's behavior, the situation, and so on. The parents is demanding and responsive. When the style is systematically developed, it grew to fit the descriptions, propagative parenting, and concerted cultivation. The authoritative parenting style is sometimes referred as democratic. It involves a child-centric approach in which parents hold high expectations for their children